My name is Kushal. I am a part of Team Data Ops at XenonStack and I belong to AWS Squad. Today I am excited to talk with you about my experimental task that I have been working on. So what happens in industries is that they have been collecting data from decades of years. So what happens with data is that as you collect your data, it makes less and less sense if not managed properly. So you have often wondered by seeing at data that what does these columns means, what is the lineage of the data, who is governing the data, whether the data that we are getting is a quality data or not. So on these problems, recently a customer encountered us. Okay, so the problem he was facing is that he was not able to understand his data. He has no proper documentation and all that stuff, due to which he was not able to properly get the business insights from his data. So the tool I am talking about is OpenMetadata. How this tool helped our client is that the client was having hundreds of tables and data sources from where the data was coming, but he was not having any proper documentation, right? So the OpenMetadata, being an open source, a centralized platform for collecting the metadata and giving all the valuable information about the data to us, we ingest it. We help the customer to ingest its data into the OpenMetadata using its various APIs. Right. So once the data we ingested, the OpenMetadata showed us the proper lineage of the data from where the data was being collected. Okay, what was the we were able to properly apply the data governance, due to which we made the data secure and make it accessible. And along with data lineage, we were also able to measure the data quality. That tells us how accurate our data is, how complete our data is, and other multiple types of metrics that we were able to get from the data. So yeah, as a data engineer, I was able to resolve my client's problem by making this whole process automation. So now the data is being ingested automatically, all the insights are getting produced by this OpenMetadata. I am able to provide my client all the requirements that he needed, and yeah, I provided him a scalable and flexible way to manage his data and properly fetch the business values from it. Okay, so let's have a look what exactly OpenMetadata is. So as you can see, I have shown the basic flow from OpenMetadata. So OpenMetadata is an open source centralized platform that provides us the metadata about the data that we ingest into it. So basically what happens with time is that the data keep growing in size, and after a period of time, the data does not make sense to us anymore. So how OpenMetadata helps us is that it has integrations with various types of data sources. As I have shown in the diagram, that we have integrations with multiple data lakes, data warehouses, okay, dashboard reports, ETL pipelines, and other ML related works. So OpenMetadata basically gets integrated with it, ingests the data from it, and it has several APIs that helps us in cataloging, improving the data quality, observability, compliance in the data ops operations, and we have several other custom tools through which we can track the data very easily and we can understand the data very efficiently. That's the basic problem that OpenMetadata solves. Let's have a look at a low-level architecture of OpenMetadata, that how exactly does the OpenMeta works internally. So in the last slide, we have seen that our OpenMetadata has multiple integrations with various data sources. So basically, we set up the ingestion pipelines via that integrations, and the ingestion framework that is inbuilt in the OpenMetadata, it ingests the data. Okay, so suppose we have consumers who are using our tool OpenMetadata. Okay, so once the consumer goes to the OpenMetadata UI, it provides a UI to us. So the consumers can go to the UI. They can set up the ingestion pipelines. Once they set up the ingestion pipelines, the ingestion framework ingests the data and it sends to the OpenMeta API backend. So it gets to the API, the data gets into the backend of the OpenMetadata APIs and gets stored into our main entity data storage. Okay, so our whole metadata actually stores here. So once the consumer goes to our UI, requests for the data via the APIs, it gets retrieved from our databases and it shows to the consumer that how our data looks like, what is its lineage, how does the data quality is, and Here I have shown is an elastic search that makes that makes the consumer searches efficient. So that's how the architecture of open metadata works. So we have been discussing that about the open metadata and its architecture. So now let us look at how the UI looks of open metadata. So as on your screen you are seeing the UI of open metadata. So let me show you the services that open metadata provides. I have shown you that open metadata has a lot of integrations with different types of databases. So here I have a list of services. If I show you, there is a whole lot of list of services that the open metadata integrates with Athena, Azure SQL, BigQuery, ClickHouse, Databricks, Data Lake, and many more. There are many kinds of messaging services also, dashboards also, pipelines, and ML models. On the top of it, open metadata also provides us data governance through which we can increase the security that who have access to our open metadata, who can add the sources to it and all that stuff. So yeah, open metadata provides the data governance also. So we can define our roles and policies here and assign them to the users that are using it. Another thing that open metadata takes data from different sources, a whole lot of sources. As you can see here, we on the open metadata sandbox we have around 6,000 tables from where it is getting the data. Okay, so if I more show you about these things, you can see that we can in this raw customer table. Okay, this is a table name raw customer. We can easily look at what is the schema of the table. Here we have a column name, comments, then a credit card. We can have all the description about the data. So this is the whole power of open metadata. So now that we have seen that how powerful this tool is, and we have seen the enormous benefits that it provides us several connectors to connect from tons of databases and messaging services. Once we ingest the data, we can have insights from the data. We have the proper data lineage, we can maintain the data governance, we can assure the data quality of our data. So being this an experimental task for me, it was very knowledgeable to learn this new tool. I was able to easily implement it for my clients. That helps them to resolve their problem about managing their data and getting the proper business insights from it. Initiative of Experimental Saturday is very good, that helps and also helps us in learning new technologies and stuffs apart from our daily tasks, which also helps us in client tasks. Thank you everyone.